Okay, right. So we went from line. Now we are looking at it from the candle point of view, right? So this is our trend line. That's how it looks like, okay? Because we using the turnaround point, okay? Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna identify our zone. Remember, after I switch it up, or drawing went away, okay? Now I'm gonna do it again so you could have a better understanding of what I was saying, right? So structure point wise, these are lower lows, right? Lower lows, right? Where each low is lower than the previous one. In the case of this, is a bit higher. Now we have a high low, right? Now we got a low high here. Those are the high points, low high. Okay. These are lower highs. All right. So that right there will be considered as a higher high. Okay. Now these are lower highs because even though they're high, they keep on getting lower and lower, as you can see, right? Now, like I said before, trend line, it just helps you understand the general direction of a trend. For market to switch direction, a previous high has to get broken, right? Which means this has to get broken. Now, the trend line just gives you a general guideline of where the market is going. All right. Now, when market break trend line, it's just broke the trend line. It doesn't give it validation or confirmation that it's at a trend reversal. A previous structure high has to be broken. Remember, the trend line is just a confluence, right? It's a confluence, a little add-on, okay? A little bit of indicator. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the rectangle property on the daily. Of course, that setup's always on the daily. So we can mark the zone, right? Previous low high, we started from the last bullish candle close to the wick. Again, highly recommend that you use the line chart. If you don't want to use the line chart, remember from close to wick, turnaround point, right? Just like so. All right. Boom. Just like that. We can lock it in. That way we don't mess it up later on. All right. So we know market broke trend line. It also broke previous structure high, right? Because it went above, close above. There's the retest. So within here is where we're going to be looking for a 4-hour price action so we can buy the market up. So let's go ahead and transition to our 4-hour time frame. All right. Okay, we're pretty close to it. All right, here it is. Run this up real quick. Boom. All right, as you can see, all right, let's make this a bit bigger so it can stand out for you guys. All right, so this is the trend line, okay? That's how it came down, and I can minimize it. Let me minimize it also so you can see it in a way, the full aspect of it. I know it looks a little bit crazy, right? Remember, our trend line was placed based off the daily time frame. So if you did place it based off the 4-hour, it would have normally fallen in line just the same way. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to place it off the 4-hour also. That way you can understand what I mean by that, okay? So the close would be up here, right? Ooh, that's not what I meant to do. This is it's bad at the moment. So let's go ahead and delete. We're going to stretch this because it was in a way. Let's do that again, okay? It will be right there, okay? Because that's the close within point here. Tapped in, stretched down, right? So see, I'm not trying to match this. I'm trying to match the actual structure, which is this one right there. Okay? I'm trying to match the actual structure itself. All right? So we can lock that in also. Let's go ahead and, enlarge it, give it more life. Stretch that up real quick. Bring it up. See that? Previous structure got broken. Zone is big. Yeah, cool. Yeah, because it's based off the higher time frame. When you go to the lower time frame, that's how it's going to look like. Remember, our lowest time frame is a 4-hour. All right. Now we're looking for our first bullish engulfing after the retracement. What do I mean? Market went above the pullback. Now, would I have liked it to come down a little bit more? Yes, I would. But unfortunately, it did not. What I like is irrelevant. My feelings is irrelevant. My job is to simply read and react to what the market is giving me. All right. So let's go ahead and run through this real quick. We ain't going to waste no time, right? It's time to eat, right? So we're looking for a bullish engulfing, different variation. Remember, the ultimate price action available now on Amazon. If you want to understand all the different type of variation or the different type of price action that the market will give you before I either buy or sell, have them ready for you, okay? With full picture, colorful illustration, helping you understand the setup itself. So We have a 3 candle price action, but it took 2 bullish candles to engulf the last bearish candle, right? Let's go ahead and go along with that real quick, right? Our entry will be right here, okay? Boom. Stop loss will be within wick. This wick low, because structure-wise, I'm using the 4-hour structure, okay? That's the only reason why, because I'm using the 4-hour structure. Let's bring it back right here, right? I'm going to lock this temporarily because the market did retrace a little bit lower. But guess what? We got nothing to worry about because remember, our low point, the last low we're using is always the same amount. If I say I'm risking 250, it's 250 no matter what. Now, look, it did go up, right? Sorry about that. I just realized that it's not exactly where it needs to be right here. Let's do this. Sorry. Okay, let's lock it in now. Boom. All right, right? Boom. It did go up. Okay. This didn't go as far as we would like it to go. Now, at any moment in time, could you have put your stop loss in profit? Yes. Would you have gotten wicked out? Yes, but it still would have been a successful executed trade. Stop loss was placed properly. It's based off a daily, and TP didn't get hit, but okay, we would have got hit out in profit. So it's still a win-win, unless you was looking at this as a TP. Just joking. But look, market did retrace a little bit deeper. Cool. So that means it did give us another opportunity to buy the market, right? Here we got a 2-candle price action. What do I mean? We have a 1-bar bullish engulfing, meaning it took 1 bullish candle to engulf the last bearish candle, right? So we're going to pull this trigger at the close, right? Remember, these price action is going to be available to you within a 4-hour interval, okay? 1, 5, or 9. So just sleep, rest, man. Just simply wait for the market to come to you. As you can see, this time we didn't get no crazy retracement, nothing crazy, but we did get a little pullback on the next candle. But as you can see, from here, straight up, stop loss, last low. Please understand, this entry and that entry, they both are still risking $250. Yes, the lot size in this is a bit smaller. This one was just happened to be a bit bigger because it's less of a stop loss. Okay, but it's still, both of them are 250. Now, because this is a daily trade, we're going to go ahead and go to the daily time frame to look at the overall, right? See the bigger picture. Boom. Bring that back real quick. Here we are. Look at that. All right, you guys see that, right? Structure down, break, retest. There goes our first entry. There goes our second entry. Now, when it comes to the TP aspect, I'm going to go ahead and annotate. I don't want to put too much line in this. I'm going to annotate to help you understand how the structure would work, right? Since we trade in the daily time frame, every structure is a TP, meaning this will be TP1, okay? TP2, target 3, 4, and 5, okay? So TP is just an abbreviation for take profit, okay? Meaning once market hit that specific area, it will close you out. You will make whatever X amount of money that that would be, all right? So market went TP1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Easy work. Okay. Let's go ahead. We can stretch that out a little bit just so I can show it to you. First one, just drag it up. All right. Beautiful. 5.15. All right. What I'm talking about from risk to reward ratio. Okay. Remember, we're not combining, we're not comparing. We put the designated stop loss. That's just what it is. But as far as how much it gives us compared to what we was risking, mwah. All right, let's lock that in. All right, let's look at the next one. Okay. Same concept. Remember, we will be risking the same amount. Okay. My bad. That's the lowest one. I'm sorry. It's still, it's still phenomenal though. Like literally, boom, TP smash. Right. We could stretch that out just a little bit, just so we could see it better. All right. Boom. 3-6. Okay. Amazing. All right. Great money. That's a great trade. Okay. It is a beautiful trade. All right. Nothing but blue. It's crazy. I love this. But yeah, that's pretty much this right here. Okay. All right. So that's that. Now we're going to go ahead and do a trend line that's going up with a bullish market. Remember, a bullish market is a buying market. Okay. It is consist of higher highs and higher lows. Okay. So there's a small one within here. Okay. we could go ahead and run that real quick. Easy, very simple. We're gonna be on our daily as always, right? We're gonna use our line chart to identify the turnaround point. So what I'm talking about is this right here, okay? So we're gonna be using from here, okay? And then we're gonna run it straight up. Okay, so originally it would be like from here, matching this, but run it a bit higher. And then when market give you a new one, run it past it, and so on and so forth. Remember, you always readjust the trend line accordingly, right? Now we understand with the line chart what the market give us. Okay. We understand with the line chart what the market gives us. So when we go ahead and put our candles back on, we don't want to freak out and go crazy, especially if we go to our lesser time frame, the 4 hour. Right? Look at that. The zone has already been placed for you guys, right? Look at that. Right? So the same concept. I'm gonna put the line chart back on. See that previous low, right? So slight little annotation just for teaching purposes, okay? Look, market give you that lower low, right? Lower low. That's a bit higher. Guess what that is, right? That's a high low because it's higher, right? That's the first break here. So we know that's higher high. So each high point is higher than the previous one, okay? That's why it's called a higher high. Here, we got high lows. Why? Well, it's high, but it's lower than the next one, right? So see that? It's getting higher, but it's lower than the higher high. So like I mentioned before, for you to get a trend reversal in the market, a previous high has to be broken. Remember, I said a trend reversal, okay? Not continuation. A trend reversal, meaning coming from a buy to a sell, from a sell to a buy, market has to break a previous high, either a one lower high, right? Or a higher high. So a lower high will be right here, sorry. A lower high, okay? Or a higher low, okay? A specific high has to be broken. All right, sorry about that. Didn't want to confuse you guys. So let's go ahead and put the candles back on. Boom, back to our daily from, my bad, back to a 4 hour, right? So here it is. Look how that looks, right? I know it may look a little bit chaotic. Please understand this trend line was placed based off the daily time frame. Okay, we have to respect it for what it is. Can we put another trend line based off the 4 hour? Yeah, sure, cool. But you don't want to try to change what the daily gives you. Okay, but if I put the line chart on, right, it's pretty much the same thing. Like if I put a 4 hour trend line, I'll put one on top of it. What I mean by that is I'll add an additional one. Okay. This is the turnaround point. This is the last one here. And I'm going to match it with the most recent structure point. Like so. Look at that. See that? I'm matching it with the most recent structure point because that's the point that's relevant. All of these is irrelevant. All right. So when I put the, remember, so that the low was broken based off the higher time frame. So let's go ahead and also do a zone previous structure low, to be more specific, higher low based off the 4 hour. All right, just for study. That's the previous low right here, right? So we're just gonna do something just like this, right? It broke. Okay, let's lock that in. You see that? So let's just stretch this out real quick. You see that? Market broke through it for the retest. Okay, so let's put the candles back on. Right? That's how it would look like. So let's go ahead and give it some life. Let's bring it to life. Bring me back to life. All right, here we go. You see that? It broke through. Bam. Retest. Again, so we're looking for a bearish engulfing, okay? Price action. Remember, price action. I have the ultimate price action, all different variation, all 6 buying price action and all 6 selling price action. All right. Available to you now at Amazon. Just type in Royalty FX Academy and you will have this book in your hand. All right. This is the blueprint. This is the key. All right. For master execution.